everyone, thank you for joining my channel. This is Rocky. So today's topic is a little bit different than what we've always been talking about, but it's still about fashion. So today I'm going to be talking about the business side of fashion. This is a little bit outside of my comfort zone from what I usually talk to you about, but literally in my everyday life, I am always pontificating about the fact that I think I know the business of fashion better than anybody else. And, you know, I'm always talking about what business models companies should take to be successful. And I claim to know which businesses are going to be successful and which aren't. So this is right along the lines of what I told you about the whole world being on sale and trying to figure out how to invest your money in addition to getting things on sale themselves in the stores, but like trying to figure out how to make your money work for you. So one of the things that I've been doing is kind of sitting back and thinking about some of the business trends I've seen. And one of the things that we've been noticing quite a bit is some of, you know, sort of these retail giants and staples that we're used to. We're seeing them all tumble one by one and failing in this market, and just failing in general, not even because of COVID, right? They're failing in general. And the most recent one to announce that they are going bankrupt is Jcrew. And Jcrew Brands also owns Madewell. And, you know, I was just kind of chatting with my husband and telling him my theory about why they failed. And I've honestly not read any articles about Jcrew and the reason why they fell. But I have my theories, right? And my theories for several other retailers. We've seen so many other retailers fall over the years, like, you know, Neiman's most recently, right? Neiman Marcus, Barney's. We've seen Agassi, New York and Company, Good Riddance, New York and Company. Charlotte Russe, Charming Charlie, just to name a few. There's so many others, and you know, and they've all failed for different reasons. Some of them failed for obvious reasons, like because their business model was attached to being present in shopping malls, and you guys know that shopping malls are no longer, you know, the popular thing, and so as these malls close, so does the footprint and the presence of all of these stores that we're used to that are always in the malls. And they didn't really have a strong online presence to sort of back up the fact that they were losing their physical brick and mortar presence. So there are a lot of stores like that, right? That made their bread and butter from being in the malls. And then, you know, there are some that fail for other reasons, for just kind of maybe marginalizing their market or switching their strategy that sort of pushed away their core target market and things like that. So I want to talk about today Jcrew, and specifically Jcrew. And you've seen me haul Jcrew before a bunch of times in the past. And for me, Jcrew has always been akin to a brand that when I was younger, it's one that I couldn't ever like really afford. It was, for me, you can tell exactly what my social status was when I was growing up. I could not afford Gap, could not afford Jcrew. Even though Gap was cheaper, I could get Gap on sale sometimes. I pined for the t-shirt that had the GAP right across the chest, and I thought, you know, I was doing something if I had that. But Jcrew was completely unattainable. However, Jcrew was selling the same boring humdrum standard basics that you would find at a Jcrew. And at the time where Jcrew was on top and able to command the prices that they did, there wasn't very much competition for higher quality basics that wasn't, you know, coming from your Kmart, possibly your JCPenney, your Sears. There was no sort of in between on the high street or on the general market that you could get. So it was either that or you were doing, you know, Gap and Jcrew. And then Gap came out with some the lower brand of Old Navy. The other brand that rivaled Jcrew would have been Banana Republic, things like that. So for me, those types of brands, Banana Republic, Jcrew, those were so unattainable. So that's part of why today you'll see me hauling quite a bit from Banana Republic and Jcrew. There's always a why. There's always a root cause or a reason why people do the things that they do. And those are my reasons for Banana Republic, Jcrew, because it was for people who were middle class, lower middle class, and below. Those weren't the things that you were getting. However, over time, you have found comparable quality, comparable selection at different stores that were offering them at a lower price point. Also, you were finding comparable price point and lower price point at your discount designer stores, like your Nordstrom Rack or your off Saks Fifth, off Fifth Avenue. Or your Neiman's Final Call, all of those like sort of, you know, designer stores that had the aftermarket things. So like, why would I overpay for Jcrew, which is giving me fast fashion quality things, probably a tinge better, right? Or fast fashion options, where I can get something that I know that's made well and has a recognizable brand, and from a store that is sort of on the up and up. Why would I choose Jcrew when I can go to Nordstrom Rack and get a James Pierce t-shirt for the same price, or whatever. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. So Jcrew, for some reason over time just seem to refuse to change their model. They were always serving up your staples, your boring staples, standards, jeans, t-shirts, button-downs, things for work and this, that, and the other, which is great. Sort of serves a core audience of people who need to get work clothes, but how many people how many of those things do you actually need? Once you have a white button down, you have a white button down. Once you have a pair of khakis, you have a pair of khakis. So they refused to change their model. They were inflexible on the prices. Their sales were never really actually sales. Not until recently. It wasn't until the past couple of years, legitimately, that I've ever seen anything like 50% off clearance and 60% off clearance and all of these things that you've been seeing me advertise to you that I had the opportunity to capitalize on. Prior to those sales, I can probably count on one hand how many Jcrew pieces I've ever owned in my life. Because that's just how, to me, they just kind of marginalize their audience and just were not just so inflexible on what they would offer in the deals they were willing to give. And then for the price point that they were offering, the people who could afford it, right? Why would they buy that when they can buy something that is much better? So I think that they cornered themselves and put themselves in a situation where they were not good enough for the people who could afford their things, and also were too expensive for the people who probably would have purchased their things. And they put themselves in a predicament where no one wanted their things. Also, they kind of had a half and half presence of brick and mortar, standalone brick and mortar, and tied to the malls. And as the malls are dying, as the malls died, so did Jcrew's presence. So they had all kinds of forces kind of working against them, and their web presence is there, right? I won't take that away from them. But again, the stuff you're offering, nobody wants. So I am not surprised to see that Jcrew's brand is going bankrupt. And Madewell has the same philosophy, similar philosophy. Inflexible on the sales, inflexible on the offerings, and actually not generally available. It's very rare that you will run across a Madewell in just any average area. It was usually in a well-to-do area or higher end or upper scaled mall. That's where you would find a Madewell. And again, the type of products that they have, kind of snoozy. So Jcrew, you did it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And on the heels of that, quite honestly, I can go down and kind of talk about several others that are on the way. I have several theories on other stores that might be on the way. And one store that you'll be surprised to hear me say that was on the bubble. Now, the bubble store was Nordstrom. To me, Nordstrom was on the bubble. It could have gone either way. But you know what's going to save Nordstrom? I'm going to tell you what's going to save Nordstrom. And no, it ain't Nordstrom Rack. Nope. It's two things that's going to save them. The fall of Barney's and Neiman's, and their web presence is amazing. They are amazing with the, marketing on social media, through email, direct marketing, sales that they have on their websites. When they send you things, their ads are full of pictures and this and that. Neiman's, they will send you, if any of you are Neiman Marcus, signed on to Neiman Marcus, have you noticed that all of the emails that they send you talk about the great things that they have, but not one picture? Never a picture of the product? That's dumb. What's going to entice me to click on your ad in your email if you're not even showing me what you're selling? So I tell you, clowns. But anyway, I say all that to say Nordstrom would have been on the bubble, but some things saved them. They have an amazing web presence, so saved them during this COVID fiasco. They had some other giants fall before them, which is going to leave a gap in the market, which they can easily fill. They also are, of course, with the Nordstrom Rack, appealing to a broader audience. And then their customer service is unmatched. Customer service is a little bit underrated. I don't know if it's a little bit or a lot of bit underrated, but it's underrated. It can definitely set, two brands that are very much alike, very much apart. And Nordstrom has that going for them. A couple of the places that I know that I feel like are on the way out would be, and you're gonna probably be surprised when I say this, Gap brands. Gap is on the way out. Macy's on the way out. What else is on the way out? JCPenney on the way out. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I know which one, and you're going to be surprised about this one. I was literally just raving about this brand about a year and a half ago, and it is Coach. Coach, I'll do a whole story on Coach, but Coach, you could be on the way out. And these brands probably have an opportunity, these last ones that I named, your Gap, your JCPenney, your Macy's, your Coach, you might have a chance to save yourselves if you can redirect a few things. But in some other videos, I'm going to talk about those specifically on my theory of why they're going out and how they can possibly save themselves. But Jcrew, maybe somebody will buy you out of this bankruptcy situation. I don't know. But whoever does, they need to understand that they can't keep doing exactly what Jcrew and Madewell has been doing. It's wrought with a lot of, I don't know. It's gonna fail. So anyway, I don't mean to smile and laugh about the demise of any retailers or anything like that. I'm just laughing at myself as if I'm actually an expert on these things. But I shop a lot, and I know what attracts me as a consumer and what will bring me in as your common consumer. And when you do things to marginalize me specifically, and I see those changes or the things that you refuse to change, I can immediately tell which brands or which stores, which retailers, which conglomerates are not going to be around to stay. So thank you so much for watching today. Put your comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this style of video. Let me know if you have any comments about what I said, whether you agree or disagree. Be kind. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.